Welcome in, everybody. Welcome, friends. Thank you for being on time. Okay. And it looks like we are live. So I'm going to go ahead and get the recording started as well, and we will get off to it.
We got the AI going? Yeah, okay, I see it blinking.
Yep. Welcome, everybody, to the BeatCancer.Org Ask a Holistic Cancer Coach weekly call. The date is the 8th of May, and we are very excited to be here. Our friends that are on the call are welcome to, of course, turn their cameras on, but do keep your microphones muted until you are going to speak so that we can ensure that the call stays clear for everybody listening in. As a reminder, nothing that's said on this call is intended to be taken as explicit medical advice. We are here to talk about matters of holistic cancer healing and prevention and holistic health and wellness at large. We are happy to point people towards resources, discuss perspectives on assorted topics, but we are not intending to diagnose nor prescribe any particular anything for any circumstance. As a reminder, we are here on Zoom, and anyone that is watching is welcome to join us on the Zoom by going to BeatCancer.org and clicking on the weekly call button at the top. Who I'm speaking to in that, of course, are our friends that are catching us on the live stream on the assorted social media channels, as we are live on Facebook, YouTube, X.com, Rumble.com, and maybe a couple other places.
We're everywhere.
We are everywhere. I'm going to, with that, turn it over to Carl for a moment while I check on the stream and make sure that all the tech stuff is running.
Thank
Oh,
you, Zach. Zach is our master of disaster. He takes care of all the live streams and monitors all the questions coming in from live streams. So please do ask questions in the chats. If somebody else is talking and you are on the Zoom call and you are on a device that you can type with, please put your questions or comments in the chat here. And if you have a question while others are talking, you can always use the raise your hand icon like that. Did my hand go up? No, mine didn't because I'm a boomer. That's why. Okay, there we go. Just
Carl,
like
where do you go to raise your hand? I always forget. Sorry.
if your window is all the way open to full
Uh-huh.
screen, it's right in the center of the bottom list of icons, and it looks like a hand.
sometimes you have to make the Zoom window a little larger. Otherwise, you
Yeah.
don't see the full list of options at the bottom. If you do not see the raise hand button, you can click on more, which is usually at the right hand side of the options, and raise hand might be there. But if someone doesn't find that option, do not worry. You can be, if you're on camera, you can
Physically raise your hand.
physically raise your hand. If you do it one time, two times, I promise you we'll have seen it and we will note it and we will get to you
In
um,
order.
as soon as we can. Welcome in Maya, and yeah, we will get off to it. So, as a reminder, we want this to be a community chat. So we do encourage participation, especially from those here with us on Zoom. We encourage questions, comments, or potential topics of discussion for the group. And if there are none, we will ourselves come up with some topics. But this is a call for you guys, the community. So we do love when there is participation and topics pitched. So with that said,
I
here
have
we
to
go.
mute myself because you can probably hear my chair. Sounds like I'm on an old-fashioned rocking chair.
Yeah, that's all right. Awesome. Well, I see that we have some friends here with us that I don't recognize the names of. So welcome in. Welcome Kathleen. Welcome Janet from Healing Strong. That's fantastic. Welcome Harmonious Monday and Bernita. And welcome to the friends that we do know, such as Dave, Joyce, Evelyn, of course, Steve, and Maya. Oh, here comes Janet. Wonderful. Well, you are joining us on cam, and I'm going to welcome you in even to get us off with our to get us started with our discussion. So, Janet, we'd love to know what brings you out to the call tonight, and what's top of mind for yourself.
My goodness, you just put me on the spot.
Here we
Oh
go.
yeah,
Uh,
great, great inspiring.
so, I have just been saying for weeks that I'm going to join in one of these calls, and something always comes up and I can't, and so I'm here tonight.
Amazing, amazing. And of course, I see that you're with Healing Strong, a fantastic partner organization that we love here at BeatCancer.org. So that's wonderful. How long have you been a group leader with Healing Strong?
I started as a group leader in 2017, and in 2018, I started serving as a mentor, and in 2023, I started in their group leader coordinator role. So I kind of am over all of the group leaders that are all over the US and now outside of the US too.
That is amazing. That is amazing. And is there anything that really inspired you to go on that journey? Would you like to tell us about your, pathway?
I would love to. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2013. Sorry, my dog's probably making a lot of noise there.
You're all
Uh, Diagnosed in 2013. I was working as an RN then. I didn't know anything about the holistic world. I went straight through everything they told me I needed to do, chemo, radiation, surgery. Ended up taking tamoxifen for a bit after that. And I tell you, when it was all said and done, I felt miserable. And my doctor just said, well, you should be happy you're alive. And I wasn't happy. I was alive. I felt miserable. And I really didn't care if I was alive at that point. And I started on a search for answers because I wanted to feel better, and pharmaceuticals weren't working for me. So, with that, I found the truth about cancer, and then Dr. V with breastcancer.com. Went out to a Healing Diva retreat of hers in Atlanta, Georgia, and that's where I got connected with Healing Strong.
amazing. That's amazing. Beautiful, beautiful, inspirational.
I have a couple of questions, maybe.
Yep, please.
How many groups do you have going on currently? I know that you're all over the US and even outside of the US.
I don't have that number on the top of my head. We have around 220, 30, something like that, active group leaders. Some of those are co-leaders, so I know we do not have that many groups. Um, I, I think we're around 140, 150 groups, actually.
That's awesome.
I would need to pull those numbers up to be exact. I wasn't expecting to be put on the spot.
Oh no, yeah, well, we've been talking to our coaches about becoming group leaders. We had that discussion together and we thought that would be a great idea, and we're very excited about doing that and working with you.
That we are excited to work with you guys as well. And, any way that we can help you out and offer service to your coaches as well, we would love to do that. So,
Yeah, I don't know if you saw it because you probably don't visit our homepage all that much, but we put your logo on the homepage as
oh, I'll have to go look. I'll
yeah,
have to go look. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. See, we're showing you off. We're proud to
You're
work with.
okay.
Awesome, awesome. Welcome to our friends that have just joined us. Welcome in Karen. Welcome in Nohemi. Fantastic to have you here with us tonight. And thank you very much for sharing, Janet. We're all about putting people on the spot, getting the stories out, getting the voices heard. This is a community call. This is not just for us to, chat. This is for all of us to chat. I see a thumbs up from Nohemi. Awesome. Love the participation. Love the energy. I see Bernita over in the chat mentioning that she's an ovarian cancer survivor from 2016. That is fantastic, and congratulations. You're able to join the calls. Unable to get on camera, that is totally okay. It is optional. But if you are able to get on the microphone, I will open the floor for you, Bernita. And I would love to hear what brings you out tonight. I'd love to hear your story. We'd love to hear anything that is top of mind, top of heart for yourself. So I'm going to invite you. There she
Can
is.
you hear me?
We can hear you.
Well, I am off nights now, so I can join the real calls instead of the recordings. I've been a coach for probably 3 years now. However, have not really done a lot with it due to my hours. Um, and so right now, I'm just kind of getting back into the material to refresh my memory, although I did know quite a bit of it since going through the treatments and all that. But I basically ordered the course just because I wasn't, like Janet was saying, the happiest with the advice and lack of concern I was receiving. So just glad to be here.
Awesome, awesome. Fantastic to have you here, Bernita. I just pulled up your directory listing on our website. Of course, you're listed as a coach on our directory. I will encourage you to get us over some more information to fill it out.
I
I'd love to
will.
have a bio up there, any contact information, because we want people to be able to find you if you're looking to help people. So
Sure. Will do. Thank
awesome,
you.
awesome to have you here. Thank you for sharing.
Yep, we have many survivors that are coaches. I bet you have the same thing, Janet. Many survivors that are group leaders.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. All right,
Well,
well,
I
welcome
think we
into.
should call on Harmonious Monday just because I love that screen name.
All right. Well, then next up on the mic, if they are able and willing to join us on the mic, is Harmonious Monday. We would love to hear from you, love to hear what brings you out, love to hear what is top of mind and top of heart for yourself.
Hey, first of all, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you great.
Okay, great. Um, this is 6 months in the making for me because, and I'm not afraid to say that because I am so notoriously behind in all of my work, but um, I started the subreddit Alternative Cancer 11 years ago, and it has been my mission, to basically scour what I call the landscape of alternative non-toxic approaches to cancer. Um, and you guys, I just looked today, I quoted 26 times in the last 11 years from BeatCancer.org, and I've had you guys as a resource, for 11 years. However, I didn't know about the video call until about 6 months ago. And I just want you to know that's how far behind I am in my, 6 months ago, I put you in my calendar, like I've got to check out the voice call. Um, so here I am. This is the first time observing and just seeing what you guys are all about on the call. Um, by the way, I can't hear anyone. I'm surprised I lost. I guess you can hear me, right?
We can hear you. No, nobody else is speaking at the moment.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. What a nice, oh my, then I love this. Oh, wow. Because I don't use Zoom either. I'm a real, I'm very technical actually, but I don't use Zoom at all. So, oh my God, I'm surprised how quiet it is while I'm talking. But I'm so glad you can hear me. That's great. That's great.
Absolutely. We can hear you loud and clear. And it's actually fun. It's great to see you here because it was probably a few weeks ago where Carl and I had a conversation because I, search us online frequently to just monitor our online presence. And I did come across several posts on Reddit when I was searching Beat Cancer on Reddit made by user Harmonious Monday.
Exactly.
And
That's me.
I
Yeah.
sent it over to Carl. I was like, "Hey, do you know who this is? Like this person."
Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny? I mean, and this is why this is why I always say the landscape of alternative non-toxic, call it what you want, holistic, non-toxic, alternative. The landscape is so huge. It never ceases to amaze me. Of course, in 11 years, I've learned a lot, but it's amazing what I don't know. And so so yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all that you don't know who I am until just recently. Some people, you know, and I'm not saying I know this is true, but I'm sure that over those 11 years, you guys have been contacted by people who probably found the information on my Reddit just by chance, and that's how they even discovered you guys, you know, but I have no way of knowing that. Um, so but see, I've known since day one um, that the integrity, to me, even though I don't really talk with cancer patients directly very much, you guys come up at the top of the integrity level, okay? Because I've seen enough of what you do. I've read enough of your articles and quotes over the years, and the interviews with, if I say it right, Susan, can't remember her last name.
Silverstein.
Exactly, exactly. I used to quote directly from some of her audio interviews when she was doing, I think, a blog at the time. So I feel like I know you guys, but I don't. But I've been observing and just considering your, like I said, it's integrity. The integrity of what you do shines through and really resonates with a lot of what I do, which is what I say is that I am interested in the subtopics of alternative cancer. Okay. And I always have to say this carefully because I never want anyone to misunderstand what I'm about to say, but so please don't react negatively. It comes from positive. Okay. I think that there are so many good resources out there that are saying the same thing in different ways. Okay. So if I look at the subtopics, like if I pulled up my desktop right now and showed you the 26 quotes that came from you guys, I would be very interested in showing.
Don't worry about that. I'm going to take care of that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But just to give you an idea, the subtopics that you guys talk about line up almost perfectly with what I would consider the most agreed upon subtopics within the entire landscape of alternative cancer. And that's how I start realizing that anybody has integrity because they're talking the same language. You know, Chris beat cancer. Okay, Chris beat cancer, right? A big name in alternative holistic approach. If you read his books and dissect them, they line up with all the other. It's amazing how things line up. Okay. And I get excited about that because my opinion is it's less about exactly whose program you follow, but rather whether the subcomponents of whatever they're suggesting you do show corroboration across the landscape. And there is such good corroboration across the landscape. Um, that's what I get. That's what I get excited about.
Absolutely. And, first and foremost, certainly, thank you very much for helping us spread the word. We have a very, very small team and do the best we can getting our message far and wide, but individuals like yourself also helping the cause in just sharing information, sharing posts, posting links. I mean, it truly helps the impact grow,
Yeah.
than we ever could.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. The information that we share, of course, we adapt and evolve with time and are always looking to, be current, but being around since 1977, a lot of our information and our perspectives and knowledge that our founders originally sharing is evergreen.
And that's right. That's right. And isn't that amazing? Because everybody is keyed toward the latest breakthrough in this or the latest breakthrough in that. To me, some of the most amazing breakthroughs are the undeniable, strong decades of history for things like diet and nutrition, exercise, stress reduction, sleep restoration. These things are breakthroughs in the sense that they are timeless, always relevant, always relevant. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think we're on the same page. We're on the same page in so many things. And, you know, I honestly, I don't want to take anybody else's time as well. I'm glad you called on me, but I also want to give people opportunity to jump in, you know. So
Absolutely. No
Thank,
worries.
thank,
No
thank
worries
you
at
so
all.
much.
No, go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, I was just saying thank you, thank you. And we still don't know you. We just know your pseudonym.
well, have you heard of the subreddit of
I,
alternative cancer?
yeah,
Yeah.
Zach had sent it to me, and I'll certainly get on and check it out now.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, I'm Harmonious Monday. Glad to meet you all, guys.
You too.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for being here. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of that was a great chat. Like you said, that there's always a new supplement to chase, a new thing, but a lot of what's works is what's always worked. And so that's really, in my opinion, where the most fruitful, energy is to look at. But
Absolutely.
before
Absolutely.
we
It's
move on,
amazing.
I'd love to know, is there any questions that you have that we can clarify about the organization, what we're up to, because that's something that can be of use for anyone on the call, and we could all learn together.
Oh, wow. I could probably I could generate a list. I'm, like I said, my agony, and it is a kind of agony, quite honestly, is that I am so far behind in my work because it's just me part-time doing what I do. Um, I can't, I could probably come up with a dozen questions for you, but I have them at the top of my tongue. So, and
Yeah,
again, I'm so mindful on a call like this. I see everybody else that's in there, and I also want them to have an opportunity. But thank you for giving me that space. Thank you.
Well,
absolutely.
thank you.
Well, I'll tell you, we can definitely keep the conversation going privately if you'd like, and I'd definitely love that. I just put in the chat our email, which is just support@beatcancer.org. If you would like to, please do send us over an email. We'd love to keep the chat going, whether it's an email chain, we could hop on a call or whatever. But
Yeah, thank you. And by the way, I hope to do this more than just this one time. You know, I'm not saying that I'm only going to pop in here and be gone either.
yeah,
You could expect now that I worked out all my Zoom bugs, you might see me you might see me more often. So
awesome. Would love that. Would love
Thank
that.
you.
Well, thank you very much, Harmonious Monday, and we do hope to hear from you soon again.
great, thank you.
Awesome, awesome. On that note, we will move on to some of our other friends on the call here. In no particular order, I see that there is a Miss Karen Sartori on the call. So I'm gonna open up the floor for you, Karen. If you'd like to grab the mic, let us know a bit about yourself and what brings you out to the call and what's top of mind, top of heart for yourself. No pressure. It is not mandatory, but
And any questions for the coaches too that you can do
yeah,
that.
what brings you out and what questions that you might have that we can answer for you. Opening the mic or the floor for Karen. And if now is not a good time, that is okay too.
Yep. Quite all
Give it
right.
a few moments.
Go on to another name that you don't know.
All right, let's move over to Kathleen. The floor is open for Kathleen. We're going to ask you to unmute if you are available. Oh, sorry. I saw that you unmuted. I went to ask you to unmute and I hit the mute button by accident. There you go.
Hi.
There you are.
Hi, my name is Kathleen Durham, and I was diagnosed with lung cancer in 2000. Let's see, it was actually last year. It seems so long ago. So I've been meaning to jump on this call for a while. So I decided to just log on and see what it's all about and how it can help me. And so I'm actually listening for information. I don't know a whole lot about it. So this is my very first time logging on. So I'm all ears. And yeah, I don't know how many people were diagnosed with lung cancer. A lot of people have breast cancer, but so I'm actually looking to see anyone who have had experience with lung cancer and to learn as much as possible from them. I had the surgery. I seem to be doing well. And so I am claiming that I'm healed completely. I'm claiming that. So,
I love it.
so I'm thinking positive and I'm claiming that. So I'm just here to get as much information as I can possibly can.
I
Well,
love it. Claim it.
first thing to know is there is hope. And my grandmother, she had lung cancer. She wound up by the time she was done, she wound up living with half a lung, but lived to a ripe old age. So
Thank you. Thank you. That's very encouraging. Thank you.
Absolutely. So claim it, own it, and make it so. But a little
Mhm.
bit about us, if you haven't explored all the different things that we have going on. One of the things that we offer is free counseling with our in-house naturopathic doctor, Dr. Randy Shane. So if you're looking to get in touch with her, just to kind of touch base or work with her in an ongoing way, that is a resource that we can provide. We also train, certify, and support several holistic cancer coaches who are available to be worked with in a variety of different ways, some of which are on this call right now. Or if you'd like to go through the educational program yourself to empower yourself through your journey that way, that is something that we can certainly speak about as well. And that gets you plugged into the community full of all of the coaches as well. So I'm going to toss it over to Maya, one of our holistic cancer coaches that is on the call with us, if she has any immediate thoughts about lung cancer that she can share with Miss Kathleen.
Oh, well,
Of course, we're not here to specifically
right.
diagnose or treat. If you're wishing to work with Maya specifically, of course, she would do a full intake questionnaire, just like our in-house doctor would do. But we can talk about generalities if we wish.
So in general speaking, all cancers basically have same origins. They're different because of the location of the cancer. The progress of the cancer is same in all form of cancers, all type of cancers. They go through process of fermentation, and that comes from carbohydrate. So I would say if you are looking for lifestyle dietary changes, making sure you don't have those glucose spikes, it's very important. Making sure that you're sleeping at least 8 hours at night and going to bed around 10 p.m. and having a good night's sleep. It's very important because around when we sleep, our body detoxifies itself. There's a lot of toxins breaks down during the sleep time. So if we are not having a good night's sleep, then the body has struggled to detoxify itself. A mindset is very important, having a positive mindset that you already stated that you are, you're healed, which is a good sign. And of course, like looking around you and addressing like toxins that could be triggered to cause cancer, whether it's coming with air flow in your house, your filtration system, checking the cleaning supplies, whatever environmental toxins, everything matters when it comes to cancer. So that's why addressing almost everything is the way to go when you have cancer. There's nothing, I mean, the most important part is just knowing that it's not only one thing out there, it's just the steps to take approach in getting better. And those steps include like your mindset, of course, your living environment, what you put in your body, and what you put on your body. Everything matters. So shortly to say, that's what I would say.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Maya. It really is a fascinating thing that no matter where the cancer is in her body, setting our body up for success in healing looks pretty much the same, no matter which organ the cancer is currently residing in. And, if we're talking about our lungs, we're talking about our breath, certain things that can be done to maximize the health of our lungs and the health of our breathing is, like Maya said, ensuring that your air that you're breathing is as clean as possible. So maybe, some quick actionables are grabbing some plants. If you don't already have some plants in your house, they're of course wonderful ways to clean the air just very passively. They're also very nice to have around, nice life in the home, brightens things up. But beyond that, for very low cost, you can get air purifiers and put them in each room of the house, or a big one in the living room, or depending on whatever living scenario you have. That's a great way to, again, clean the air, because you run one of those in your house for a bit of time, it's pretty crazy how much dust and stuff they can collect, and otherwise that would just be in the air. But beyond cleaning the air of what is already in it, it's also a good idea to be mindful of what we're putting into the air. And of course, if we're doing things like spraying chemical, they call them air fresheners, but you know, they're air chemical adders. If we're spraying those into the air, they find their way into our lungs, and those chemicals don't have any business being in our lungs. Burning paraffin wax candles, of course, puts a lot of pollutants into the air. So these are just, or even, chemical cleaners.
Yep.
If you're cleaning your counters or your floors or your dishes or your laundry with harsh synthetic chemicals, these things find their way into the air, and they find their way into the lungs. So lung cancer or not, these are some fantastic actionables, some things to act on that can get the air that we breathe being a lot cleaner, which is a great step towards setting our body up for health and healing.
Thank you. That was very helpful information. Thank
I was
you.
just going to add one more thing, mold.
True.
Want to be careful of mold, and that's something that Maya found that she had in her house, which was surprising because she's very, very diligent and was
Yeah.
causing an issue with respiratory systems.
Right. It is very important. That links to the digestive issues, and it could link to cancer because of the nutrition malabsorption. So highly recommend checking your house for mold.
Mold is very pervasive, and it can be very sneaky too. It's perhaps a dishwasher has a slight leak and you don't see any water, but it's seeping into the cabinets it's around. Again, this is not to have
Front load wash machines. They're notorious. I know that ours starts to smell and you have to clean it out.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a very silent. Mold is very silent.
Yeah,
I think Harmonious Monday wants to chime in on this conversation too.
absolutely. Over to Harmonious Monday.
Thank you so much. And these are, by the way, as soon as Maya said about glucose, of course, the whole sugar glucose cancer is kind of an undeniable link. And because I think I got her name right, Kathleen is just at the earliest stages. I want to just emphasize something that I have learned, not as a coach like you guys, but just as someone who has really, really dug deep into this topic. The power of diet and nutrition as a general statement, okay, above and beyond, sugar feeds cancer and glucose. We know that this is true. But the whole, what I call flood the body with nutrition, okay, by almost, and I think someone else said everything matters. I think Maya said everything matters. It really does. So if there's anything in your diet, like if you've got a diet that happens to be, like a lot of us Americans, processed food. If you're eating a lot of processed food, hey, we know we do. It's convenient and it's everywhere. We're missing a lot of nutrition. At the same time, we're getting a lot of bad stuff. Okay. If you can make a switch in your diet, and it doesn't even have to be a quick switch in my mind, just a complete shift in mindset. Like, what am I about to put in my mouth? Is it fresh, nutritious? Is it full of fruits and vegetables? Is it low on sugar? Is it not a processed food? These things are so foundational in my thinking. And because she's asking such an early question, I would say diet and nutrition, learn as much as you can about healthy eating. Even if you don't read about anti-cancer eating, if you know your diet is it could be improved, do not delay in improving it. Start improving it in every way you can. That would be my little chime in advice.
Thank you.
Yep.
Fantastic
Absolutely.
addition, Harmonious Monday. Thank you.
Mhm.
And over to Kathleen again. What is top of mind for you? What are you thinking about some of the things that you're hearing? And what else can we potentially answer for you here tonight?
It's nutrition. I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. I consider myself a gardener. I have a garden in the back of my house that I grow a lot of vegetables, and I eat a lot of vegetables, which I think it helps. It helps with what I'm going through. Um, the problem I have is that cream I drink in my coffee. How bad is it for me? I am addicted to coffee and that cream in the morning. I just drink a nice big cup every morning.
Yeah.
Uh,
That certainly can range because, is it specifically just a cream or is it a creamer?
it's a creamer.
Well, I'm going to challenge you, Kathleen, if you would like to and are able to at the moment, to go grab that bottle of creamer and let's go over that ingredients list and see what it's looking like, if you would like
Okay.
to.
Sure. And now it takes me a minute. I gotta go downstairs. I'm on the second floor. Is that okay?
Sure, sure. We'll
Come
chat.
back.
We'll chat in the meantime and just
Okay.
chime in when
I'll,
you get back. Let's
I'll
take a
be
look
right
at that
back.
ingredients list. This will be fun because cream is one thing, but creamer.
Right.
I've seen some concerning.
And there's different levels to cream too. Like we got a lot of raw milkers here, so
Yeah,
you're better off with raw milk if you're going to go that route.
yeah,
We do have some questions in the chat there, Zach, about
sure, sure. So in the meantime, while Kathleen's grabbing her creamer, let's see. Someone Ellen saying colon cancer that metastasized to the lungs, even radon gas from the gas oven. Oh, she was
Yeah,
saying.
yeah, she was responding to the conversation that was going on, but there's questions there too down below from Janet and Evelyn.
God, is it
Basically the same thing.
yeah, a friend of mine with metastasized to the lungs has found ozone insufflation has been helpful for her. And then someone's asking to expand on ozone insufflation.
But that was quick.
Yeah.
Kathleen's back already.
Awesome. So we'll get to the ozone insufflation in just a moment. Let's take a look at this creamer. And if you would, Kathleen, please do read out that ingredients list and let's see what you
If
got.
you can
Oh,
pronounce
wow.
everything.
It's a long list.
Oh
Yeah.
no, that's not a good
It's,
sign.
Well, you know how much you know how many ingredients are in cream?
oh,
Cream.
wow.
It's
It
supposed to be
is
one.
Just one. Just one.
really.
Let's see. I could try to
Well,
pull this on
Just
mine.
one, yeah.
oh,
So
wow.
is that the Delight Gourmet Irish Coffee Creamer?
Yes.
All
Are
right.
you,
So I'll,
are you calling that up, Zach? You are so quick. He's probably
I
I-
actually have a question for you, Kathleen.
yes.
Why do you drink coffee in the morning? Because you have no energy or you feel tired?
No, I just like it.
You just like it.
Hmm.
well. On to a good thing because we're gonna pick on your creamer for a little bit, but the gardening is so much more than just. I love to garden too, by the way. I do organic gardening. I'm a self-confessed dirt nerd. I love making compost and but it does so much more than provide you with fresh organic vegetables.
Hmm.
Gets you out into the sun. That's necessary. It gets you out into the air. It even just the whole activity of getting your hands in the dirt, just the
Hmm.
microbials and getting your hands dirty is a good thing. All this wash or sanitizing our bodies and hands with hand sanitizer and stuff is so much worse for you than actually going out in the garden and putting your hands in the dirt. So congratulations on that. That's excellent. That's an excellent uh,
awesome.
activity.
Am I pulling up the right thing here, Kathleen?
Yes.
All
Yes,
right. Let's
that's
take a look at what we got here.
It says nutrition there. How can it say that?
All right. So
Okay.
here's what's in this creamer. And I'm just gonna toss it over to Maya. Maya, what do you think of this ingredients list?
Okay, the creamer, in my understanding, has to be just the cream from milk. So, and that's it. The water, sugar, palm oil.
Wait a minute. There's no milk.
Yeah, and then there's sodium caseinate. I don't know. It says milk derivative, but we don't know, like, again. Lipopotassium phosphate, that's something I would look into. That carrageenan, that's something I would avoid completely.
Mm.
Mono and diglycerides, natural and artificial flavors,
Which
avoid.
could be many.
Yeah.
But when they say that, it could be a ton of things that just fall under that category. They're just
Right.
too small of amounts for them to put on the label.
Sodium steroyl lactylate, salt. This is, I think, sodium sterol also preservative. So sodium casein is not source of lactose, so that's mean it's grown somewhere in the lab, I would say, if it's not that. So I I would completely avoid all the ingredients.
The
Like
two
basically
the two top ones besides water is sugar and palm oil.
Yeah.
So you
Well,
put a
palm
lot of
oil, yeah, it depends the way they process the palm oil. It might consider a safer option, but still the process depends on the manufacturing. Depends how they process the palm oil. So
Yeah, the point was is that they're the two first ingredients, so that's what's in there the most. So sugar is right
yeah,
up top, and you
yeah,
all agree that sugar is cancer food.
yeah.
And this, of course, is not to pick on Kathleen. You're right.
No,
This,
no,
this is, of
It's
course,
not,
to,
yeah.
to
Not at all.
help Kathleen and to
I
highlight.
actually appreciate this. I need
Yeah.
to know.
This is an eye opener for a lot of people. The only ingredient I would use in this like ingredient list, it would be water. That would
Let's
be,
take a moment and recognize there is no cream in this creamer.
yeah, there's
There is
nothing.
only a milk derivative.
Yeah.
That it's not a cream. It is a cream-like substance that is sold. It is a fully processed thing that is being sold.
And Zach, could you scroll up a little bit? I just want to see the sugar content,
Oh
the
yeah,
percentage. Yeah.
Okay.
It says 5 gram, but
That's
in
the
one
serving.
tablespoon.
in
And so
one
again,
tablespoon.
not to pick on Kathleen, but just to highlight people's habits. How many
Yeah.
tablespoons would you presume that you put in a cup of coffee?
About 3.
Yeah. So it's three servings.
That's 15 grams of sugar. Okay. On the top of the coffee is a stimulant. It stimulates your adrenal glands. It could spike the cortisol. There's a lot of things in there that even the water I would question a lot. Is it like, what kind of water? Is it like tap water or is it like clean water, reverse osmosis water? Where is the water is coming from? So I would totally avoid that one.
Wow.
And
Is
that's
this any
that.
better?
Well, let's go find out.
Okay, let's find out.
But by the way, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would categorize this as an ultra processed food.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got to be especially careful of ultra processed foods.
Yeah.
Because a baked potato is a processed food. Peanut butter is a processed food. But they're not processed anywhere. And you made a very good point when you said there's no cream in it.
Mhm.
So really, even CNN, some of my biggest processed food warnings now are coming from CNN, and they jump right to the ultra processed food as being cancer. And this is CNN. They're drawing a direct connection between cancer and ultra processed food. So my little comment down below, I said, learn to love a better creamer. Don't feel like you can't have it as a treat and you love it. Keep it on the minimum side and keep it as close to cream as you possibly can. That's what I would say.
You will be probably better off by just adding some grass-fed, grass-finished milk than that creamer into your coffee. Yes. And this is such a great actually call today, teaching people to read the ingredients on the labels because it matters a lot. People look at the top front box picture, all they see is natural.
Mm-hmm.
And that under that word natural, they think like everything is natural in there. There's nothing natural usually in those boxes. So that is so important to pay attention, especially people who have cancer.
Yeah. And so, I'll take it a step farther from what Harmonious Monday even said so wonderfully. And I wouldn't even call this a, highly processed or ultra processed food. These are ultra processed food-like products.
Yeah, they're not food. There's no food in there.
There's no
all.
food in
There's
there.
no food in there.
There's no food in there.
There's the chemicals in there, but no
Is
food.
this any better?
Is
Let's
this
find out. Is this what it is? The pina
Yes.
colada thing?
Well,
Um,
when it says pina colada, it's got stuff in it.
yeah,
They have such a nice like presentation of the labels.
it is. So here we go.
Mm.
Very similar again, starting with water, getting to sugar. This one,
High oleic soybean oil. That's such a big no in
Yeah,
any form.
let's just stop on that one for a minute, Maya, because
Mhm,
I don't think you can find any soybean oil,
mhm.
at least in America, that's not GMO.
Yeah.
All GMO and has high levels of what is it? What's the pesticide?
glyphosate.
Glyphosate. Exactly right. Yeah. You just can't find it at
Yeah.
all.
Oh, I like this one. Isosulfame potassium, a non-nutritive sweetener. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that also goes by the shorthand term ACE-K, ACE-K, K for potassium, of course. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's present in a lot of different products and is quite controversial at the least for its potential damaging effects.
I wonder why
So
some don't freeze.
there's nothing, there's everything else but food in here. And
Well, yeah, there's less than 2% of a milk derivative.
yeah.
So,
Casein. It says micellar casein, and casein converts into the body, into the what does it convert to into the body? Because our body cannot break it down, and it would like it's a I think it like
Isn't
a
it cancer-causing?
morphocasein. It converts it into the morphocasein that crosses blood-brain barrier and triggers depression, anxiety in severe forms. And then it actually worsens the autism in kids. So paying attention to the ingredients.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's a lot of, again, stuff in here. It's a lot of the same, some semi-different, but certainly none that I would personally recommend consuming. It is very similar on the sugar. You know what? The crazy thing is that if you were to not use this creamer and instead just put 10 grams of straight sugar in your coffee, you'd be better off.
Yes.
Because
But I would not recommend that.
right now you're getting 15 grams of
I
sugar
would do probably
plus a
just
bunch
the
of
plain milk. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's true, but the sugar is still scary, but you're
Yeah,
trying to
yeah,
make a point. You're still trying to make a point. I mean,
Yes,
this is this is much worse than doing a very bad thing with pure sugar. So I feel bad. I feel bad for Kathleen, though. I'm watching her expression and I'm thinking to myself, there is a certain amount of joy in coffee. Okay.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
get it. I get it. But I'll tell you what I do now. And of course, I'm not dealing with a diagnosis, but I'm very cancer cautious because I'm in prevention mode and I learn a lot about cancer. I use honey in my coffee, not a lot. I don't even like a lot of sweetness in the coffee, but I used to. But over time, everything that I was learning about sugar and cancer kind of scared me and made me say to myself, could I make my coffee a little bit less sweet? Could I make it a little bit less sweet? Could I make it a little bit less sweet? And over time, I kind of retrained myself. So now I just put a dash of sugar in there. You could work toward that goal because if you're looking at there's a certain amount of importance in having joy, maintaining those moments of joy in your life. And if coffee is one of those things for you, I don't want you to feel like, because we're shooting you down. Everybody's shooting you down here in a way,
Not
because
her,
because
just the
Yeah.
creamer.
because
Just
the
the
label.
creamer.
No,
It's just the creamer,
but
yeah.
no, you know what I'm saying. The creamer really is bad. You can't get around it. It's horrible. It's almost
Yeah.
like not even food. But I just want to give you encouragement to work through it. Work toward a dairy product that's clean and work on different and give yourself that treat, but make it as healthy as you possibly can without this kind of creamer in it. That's all.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
Have a recommendation?
yes, I wanna give you those recommendations so it would be easier for you. First of all, recommending if you're drinking a coffee, drink organic coffee. Make sure it's tested for mold because that's very important. A lot of coffee they do grow mold. That's number one. Number two, you can add coconut cream or coconut milk to that. You can use natural sweeteners like allulose. They do not spike their low glycemic index, or monk fruit, but without erythritol, just the plain monk fruit sweeteners. So those are sweeteners. Some people do use stevia. I personally do not like stevia because it does his neurological, it can damage the neurocells. So I don't recommend that. So those allulose, monk fruit sweetener, you can use it as sweetener or a little bit honey, like Harmonious Mondays stated, and but not pushing a lot. Since you had cancer just recently, I would not push a lot with even honey, and then adding honey into the hot cup of coffee, still not, it breaks down differently when you drink the honey, when you put the honey on your tongue. So it's a different ways of breaking down. So those are the recommendations I would make. And then if you drinking coffee, I would recommend adding a small pinch of baking soda into your coffee, make it less acidic. So it's not gonna a small pinch. So that's not gonna be as acidic to your kidneys.
Okay.
And one more thing for you to remember: for every cup of coffee, you need about 3 to 4 cups of water to drink, because coffee dehydrates the body, and you have to hydrate your body because you need detox, especially your lymphatic system.
Well, I juice a lot, so
Juice
from the
is different. Yeah, juice is different from the water, and it depends what you juice.
Okay.
Also, okay.
All right.
But yeah,
So
I'd
we
like
can
to
end on the-
recognize. I'm sorry, Carl. I'd like to recognize Kathleen's bravery for going through that exercise. That was a lot of fun, and there's a lot of sensationalism involved. It's certainly very eye-opening to discover what is in these products that are just so readily available on the shelf, and it's a lot to process to realize what has been going on in our bodies, without us realizing.
But
But
it tastes so good.
yeah,
It
it is
is
the
good.
first step.
That's the addictive part, a special design to be addictive, because that's how
Okay.
it plays with your brain,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. And yeah, sugar itself, sugar addiction is a very, very prevalent thing that it's very under considered in most people's minds. But
We've said it here too before. It's more addictive than cocaine.
Yes.
yeah, and more accessible. That's the dangerous part. But the first step is recognition, and then the second step is working towards healthier alternatives. Because, like Harmonious Monday was saying, yeah, this you don't have to go from having a nice coffee experience to nothing at all, right? Myself, I drink a lot of coffee.
Yep.
I drink mine just black, but that doesn't mean that you can't, in a healthy way, add stuff to your coffee in a way that you'll be happy with and enjoy it. But it starts with recognizing what we're trying to avoid and then finding the alternatives. And the wonderful thing is, now in 2025, with more people becoming health conscious really than ever before, the market is growing, the options are growing, and there's a lot of things, coming around in different stores or online stores that can get you the result that you need or are looking for in a healthier way. But yeah, it all starts with awareness. All starts with awareness.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. That was awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
So yeah, so we had that question, if we can get back to that real quick. Maybe somebody knows a little bit about that.
Well, actually, they just messaged me and said that they have to step away from the computer, or they have to turn their sound down for a bit, so they might not be available.
That's okay. We'll get her the AI chat.
Cool. But yeah, she's around. So Janet, if you are available and you do hear me and you'd like to expand on the ozone insufflation, please do chime in. But I did see your message that you might be stepping away, so that is okay too. In the meantime, I'm going to hand it over to you, Carl, while I just monitor some of the other questions that.
Yeah, I really don't know anything about that, so I was hoping that maybe one of the coaches knew. Do you know anything about that, Maya?
About what?
Ozone,
I'm sorry.
ozone
Ozone?
insufflation.
Ozone is always good, but relying only on ozone, it's not, I mean, it's not realistic. As I said, like as a cancer survivor myself, it's not only one thing out there. You cannot just like do tons of other things and get away with it and just use one ozone therapy and say, oh, per se, like I'm gonna do ozone and it's gonna help me. There's no magic in ozone. I mean, it is good for you if you combine with everything that what we mentioned here on the call. What is going on your body, what is going in your body, what are you breathing with? Something triggered your lung cancer. There's a cause of something that brought the cancer to your body. So
Yeah, I
you
don't think that was
have to, yeah, it cannot just, or you or someone else, yeah, it doesn't matter. Or even in my case, breast cancer, it was something was triggering the cancer. We have to understand what it is and clear that path. So just doing plain simple ozone, I mean, it's great, but not alone by itself.
that insufflation means you force it into different
They do,
organs.
yeah, they do it, yeah, they do it through IV, they do it through like a breathing, they do it rectally, they do it in so many different ways.
Yep, yep.
So, yeah, so it all depends, it all depends on what kind of cancer and how people can tolerate. It's very by individual, you know.
Yeah.
So,
We
yeah,
had
but it's,
another. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I said, but it's a good procedure, of course.
We had another comment come in on Facebook saying, I was just told I have a 7.1 centimeter tumor on my left ovary. They're planning a hysterectomy, but I want to try natural ways of healing. So that's not specifically a question, but I do encourage you to, of course, get in touch with any of the resources that we do have here, whether that be our naturopathic doctor on staff, and you can email us at support@BeatCancer.org to get connected with her, or also put on the Facebook chat the link directly to our counselor's page. Or, of course, we have several coaches available to work with as well. But if there's
And again,
anything.
the message I think is there is hope, because we just got a call recently from somebody who's 19 years past their death date, a stage 4 ovarian cancer survivor at this point, and she's not only 19 years past her death date that she was told, she went completely natural, and she's 85 years old. So she's not a young person conquering this. She's older.
Yeah.
So for sure.
The one message for people who would like to avoid and go natural alternative way is to know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing and you're just trying to avoid conventional treatment and playing with alternative and not knowing like a proper way of doing that, you have to understand like your ovaries, like it's a hormones in your body. They're off. Like there's a lot of things you have to understand about your own body before making a decision to go natural alternative, you know. Um, uh, so that would be my recommendation. No, either get someone who knows and can help you right way, or get the ovary removed, get the hysterectomy, and just do natural, not to do other stuff, for example. But it's very important to know which path you're taking, and what do you know, what exactly you want to take. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot out there and confusing people. That's the most important part. That's confusion. When my clients come to me, the very first thing they say, it's a confusion. I don't know where to start and what to do. So that's the biggest challenge when it comes to cancer.
Excellent advice. When we first started in 1977, that was before Google. That was it was hard to get the information. You really had to dig and investigate and research for any kind of information. But now the opposite is true. there's Dr. Google, and there's too much information. So really, you should get with a coach or with our in-house
Yeah.
naturopathic doctor. Either one is good, and have somebody that can go step by step with you and make sure that you're doing the right things and not doing the latest and greatest thing that you saw on Instagram.
And sadly, there's too much wrong information on
Yeah,
Google.
that too. Yeah, absolutely. You got to separate the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent, Maya. Thank you.
Absolutely. So we are at the top of the hour. The conversation is going and flowing. So of course, if anyone does have to drop off, that is totally okay. But I will keep this open for a bit more time because I want to make sure that we're serving all of our participants here. We haven't yet heard from one of our, or we haven't yet called on one of our members on the Zoom here, and that is Nohemi Serrano. I do believe I've seen that name before, but either way, I would like to open the floor for yourself. I'm going to ask you to unmute here if you are available and would like to. You can share with us what brings you out tonight and what questions that you might have for the group. I'm going to leave the floor open for a few moments for yourself.
Unmute. I was trying to unmute. Hi, how are you? It's been a
Hi.
while, and yes, so it's like, oh, Thursday's a very busy day for me, and it's like, so I was trying to listen from work, and I just got home, so
Awesome.
I was able to listen. But thank you so much. It's always a joy to listen to everyone, and I'm still interested to learn more and to be a coach, best. But I haven't called anyone yet. My dad is 86, and I lost my mom almost 3 years ago. So I've been busy with that in my work.
Yep. So sorry to hear about your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing about coffee, I really love coffee. I used to drink a lot. And I just, by listening to you guys, learning about prevention cancer, I don't have anything like that in my family, but I'm always conscious. A lot of friends, they have cancer. I try to give them this website, and but anyway, I just learned that a lot of people like sugar or they love the coffee because I drink. Eventually, I was drinking with sugar. Then I just got rid of sugar. I lost weight with that. And then eventually, I'm just drinking less coffee now. I said I don't need it. I still love it. Um, and I don't know. I'm just learning to not to be addicted to things that is not healthy. So
Absolutely. It's
anyway, it will be easier. What was that?
Oh, I was just going to say that, it's a great point. Step by step, you move in a healthier direction, and that's what it's all about.
Right.
You can't necessarily
And I
turn
just
your whole life upside
right,
down overnight, but taking those steps, like
right. Those
recognizing,
steps, yeah,
yeah,
right. And I just say, you know what, a little bit less every day. And it took years I'm just making it and I forget about it. I'm like, oh, I didn't drink my coffee. I'm wasting coffee, So,
You can,
but
you,
it's just,
so,
what was
sorry.
that?
I said you can
It's okay.
substitute coffee with a green tea. The effect is better
Yes.
and you get better, better, outcome with green tea than coffee.
But I think a great
Yeah.
point that I think a great point that was just raised there is that, Nohemi realized that she wasn't, what she was enjoying on her day-to-day basis, it wasn't about the coffee. It was
Right.
about all of the
Right.
additives. And that's
Additive.
what was
Right.
creating that addiction. And
Yeah.
if you look at a lot of
Right.
people's cups of coffee, there's barely any coffee in it. It's mostly other stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
So
great.
I really appreciate someone can call me will be easier because I just get busy and I'm like, oh, so that will be a great motivation for me, whether to take a class, to learn. I'm not sure where to start.
Yep.
Awesome.
You can get in touch with Zach at
Okay.
support at Beat Cancer,
All right.
and he'll send you a link, and you can pick a time that's best for you to talk.
Okay, great.
Awesome.
He does evening? Okay.
Yep. So I just put the email over in the chat. You
All
can
right.
send an email
Let's
over
see
to
that.
there, and we'll point you in the right direction.
If there's no
Right,
times
thank you.
available during the day, that's good for you. Yeah, just coordinate with Zach, and he'll pick a time for you. That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Great.
Karen
Thank you.
was on mute for a minute there. It looked like maybe she had something to say.
Yep, I did see that as well. So if Karen is available and would like to share with us what brings her out and what's on her mind, we will open the floor back up for Karen.
Unless that was a mistake.
I saw it too. It was on
Hello.
your.
Oh, there we
Hello.
go.
Oh,
Yay.
hi. I'm so not techie, and it literally took me like 45 minutes to figure out how to work the Zoom. I'm so sorry, but I did it. I'm really proud of myself.
Well done. Well done.
It's harder to find on the phone.
It's like I gotta use this more to make sure I know how it works. But yeah, this is my first time with this group, and I was always been into alternative health nut for many years, past 35 years. Um, and then in 2022, 24, 25, late October, I was diagnosed with a DCIS stage 0. And so like really dove in after that, because I'm like, wait a minute, I eat healthy, I do everything right. I have all the air purifiers, I have like I do everything. And I'm like, okay, how did I get this? So long story short, just dove in a little deeper, and then just wanted to help friends that unfortunately were in worse situations than myself, and just really trying to help other people at this point and just get as much knowledge as I can, because I've been listening this whole time. I just haven't been able to connect, but it's so true. There's so much information out there, and it's so confusing, and you can never know everything. So, you know, power is in educating yourself, and if you can help other people in the process, and that's what I want to do, so that's why I'm here.
That's
Well, I'm
amazing.
glad you took a holistic approach to DCIS. I do know that that doesn't necessarily have to be cancerous.
Yes.
Right, exactly, and that's what I really dove deep into. I did have a lumpectomy, and the interesting thing is I didn't take the normal path. I'm a believer that God kind of set my path on this in the unconventional way. I always had very dense breast tissue, and there was this one spot where this DCIS was that I've had 2 biopsies on prior within the last, I would say, 8 years. And so when they did the mammogram, they had me come back for an ultrasound because they're like, don't like what we're seeing in this little spot. We don't think it's anything. We think it's probably the same thing it was before, which they call was a adenosis. So at that point, there was just literally, my heart just went, nope, because I was reading again about all the biopsies and how that can be it can actually spread your cancer if you have it. So I literally just told them, nope. I'm like, if you want to do anything, just take it out. So they're like, absolutely, we would probably do the same thing. So set me up with the surgeon, went and talked to the surgeon, and I had asked her to please take out it was in a nodule that I had, like a really dense breast tissue nodule about the size of a walnut. And so I had asked the surgeon at the time, can you just please just remove that whole nodule, because I've just had issues with that spot the whole time. And so she did. Biopsy, the pathology comes back, a week and a half later, and she's like, "Oh, hello, hi Karen, how you doing? We figured out you have a DCIS." And I'm like, at the time, going like, "What is that? Like what? English, please." So she explains it's like a stage 0 cancer, and we're going to set you up with the oncologist and the radiologist, and blah blah. I'm like, back up, like what? So it was, it's always a shock when you hear that C word. And so dove in again, dug deep, had my consultation with the the oncologist, the radiologist. They wanted to do 5 rounds of low dose radiation, and I, really prayed about it, and I just went, this is not for me. I said, I'm not doing the radiation. I said, talk to my primary care. I've talked to, just other people, other naturopaths in this situation, and I'm like, there's no need for radiation for what I have. Some people don't even get the lumpectomy. So they did, well, I guess, advise me to do a hormone blocker, estrogen blocker, which I am on. I did do that after the research. I thought, okay, if I have any bad reactions, then, I'm going to stop. But I haven't, thank God. So did do that. Up my supplements as far as bone density, because that's an issue with those. But it's been 2.5 years, and actually I have my follow-up appointment next week. And I've been great. So, but in saying that, I really researched the DCIS part of it, because, when you hear cancer, you think cancer is just cancer and everything's the same, and it's not. So the more and more I research about DCIS as being more of a, I don't know, precancer, and some doctors don't even say it's cancer, it's just funky cells. But it's something you do absolutely need to treat holistically, I think. There is something going on there. But the other part of me, just the gut feeling was like, I had 2 biopsies there, and then now this shows up in the exact same spot. Now, mind you, when they took out that whole nodule, they took out both the areas that I had the biopsies in, and literally the cells that were funky were next to those 2 biopsies. So I'm like, okay, so did those 2 biopsies cause this DCIS? So that's always been in the back of my mind. And the more and more research I've done, I think, that could have very well been a possibility. Although the cells were hormone positive, estrogen and progesterone. But then again, I was reading 80% of it is, because those are your breasts and that's where your hormones are too. So it's been a journey, but I just feel that, the more empowered you are with knowledge, the better steps you can take for yourself. I'm just grateful it wasn't, anything worse. And all I can say for women out there is you got to follow your heart, follow your gut. Like, don't just jump into doing what the doctors tell you to do. Because every doctor after that told me, I don't know what told you to just get it taken out and not do the radiation, but you did the right thing. So that's my story. Sorry to take so long.
No, thank you,
Okay.
thank you so much. And just one of the interviews that we did, I forget the doctor's name, but she was a breast cancer doctor, and um, she was talking about the BRCA gene and DCIS, and so many women, I mean hundreds of thousands, got scared into getting total mastectomies for
Yes.
DCIS, and it wasn't even cancerous.
Yes.
So they really do have the scare you into treatment thing down, and it was good that you prayed about it and decided to go the route that you did. And we have Maya here to comment more.
Yeah, I was listening to your story. I salute to you that you didn't go for radiation or any additional treatment, because over 50% of DCIS cancers are not cancer at all. They're calcification of the fat and calcium mostly, but not
Yes.
cancer. Yes, and I actually shared the video. It's me and other 2 cancer coaches. We were discussing DCIS and the mammogram and other options. And it's on YouTube channel that we posted. There's more information in there that you can go and listen, or anyone who would like to go and listen about mammogram and misdiagnoses or overdiagnoses. And a lot of women ended up having mastectomies for no reason and struggling. So the other thing that I want to say, as someone who had estrogen progesterone positive cancer, you have to do more research, not on DCIS. You have to do more research on calcification, the breast calcification, and a tissue calcification. You know, what exactly causes tissue calcification? And trying to change your lifestyle and diet to the form. You have to understand your hormones, you know, to be able to help yourself, because taking exogenous hormone, balancing hormones. I don't know if you're taking tamoxifen or letrozole, whatever you're on.
Yeah, it's anastrozole.
Anastrozole, yeah, or anastrozole. So it's like down the road, within a few years, it's gonna give your body a certain side effects. It does affect bone density. It does affect bone health.
Yep.
So even though if you don't have any symptoms right now, and taking exogenously, meaning like you're bringing something outside of your body to balance your hormones, down the road, it would end up, you know, a negative way. It's a question is, did you have a cancer, and do you really have to prevent cancer? There's a lot to learn on that part. Are you really preventing the cancer, or are you causing more damage by taking anastrozole? So
Exactly.
yes, those are the things, like I would totally dive into understanding your hormones, how your body processes hormones, what your body makes hormones from, what the role of bile on the hormone detoxification. There's a lot of things you have to learn to understand your body, and then getting like for me, tamoxifen caused endometrial cancer. So
wow.
so it was 5 years into taking tamoxifen. So I got endometrial cancer, and that's when I started diving in. It was almost 10 years ago, and I took holistic approach, and here I am now, almost 10 years, not taking any hormonal blockers or anything like that, because I learned how to manage my own hormones. I learned how to deal with the hormone, how to balance them. So, and I have a nursing background, and no one teaches you those things. It's in school. So
exactly.
yeah, you have to dive in. You have to do your own research. You have to become your own advocate, health advocate, to help yourself. So, and DCIS, it's like it doesn't consider cancer nowadays at all, and not yet to have a mastectomy or even lumpectomy. Even though you have an estrogen, progesterone positive, it might be just at that time. You know, it doesn't mean that you always had it. Well, your biggest focus, you have to focus on bone density. What exactly causing that bone density? Because it's not normal to have a bone density. But if you still have a bone density, that's mean your hormones still off at this point. And by taking synthetic hormone blockers, you're not doing your body a favor.
Exactly. Yeah, I
Okay.
know they're just not good for you, which I'm going to bring up with my oncologist next week and just see, you know, what testing I can get done as far as my hormonal testing. And I want to get the what is the the one that measures your the MTFH?
MTHFR.
Yes, that
Yeah,
one.
it's an important factor. It just like it's a factor of methylation. It will help you to understand if your body processing, but that's not the reason you have a hormonal imbalance. You know, there's a lot of things. There's digestive involved, like your understanding that hormones. What's the pathway of the hormones? How your body makes hormones. That's the most important part you have to know.
What kind of testing do you recommend for that to find that out?
If you want to do like in-depth testing, that would be Dutch testing, DUTCH. That would be the test that you can check your hormones with, but that's just gonna tell you about your hormones at that moment in your body, and our body changes all the time. I would say on a daily basis, So because of like what you're exposed to, what your stress levels are, how you sleep at night, everything matters. Like, and then you can wake up every single day and you can have a test every single day. It might show different testing every single day when it comes to hormones. Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah. It's not like because cortisol plays a role. There's so many aspects plays a role on, especially sleep. Sleep plays a huge role. If you don't sleep like in the middle of the night.
I don't sleep well. Yeah.
Certain hours, for example, that's something that to pay attention to. That's affect your hormones. So as I said, like the focus would be not on DCIS to do
Mhm.
research on it. You have done enough research on it, and you understand that's almost not a cancer. Zero stage cancer is not cancer. When they tell you zero stage, I don't even understand what it is, zero stage cancer. So
Exactly. That was really
yeah,
confusing.
that means nothing. Yeah.
And then the different levels, like the low grade, the intermediate, and then the high grade, I didn't quite get that
Right.
either.
Right.
So
A lot of people, by the way, was a breast calcification, they could get DCIS. So a lot of females it was breast calcification might be diagnosed with DCIS, but that doesn't mean they have cancer. So that
I'm
would be
finding
my
that out more and
recommendation.
more.
Yeah, that would be my recommendation.
Thank you. I
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate that.
Sure.
I think Naomi wants to chime in.
That was really enlightening. I appreciate that so much.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you for coming on and speaking.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your story. It takes a lot to share what we've been through, but when we are able to do so with community like this, it's maybe you agree it's a healing act in it of itself to just connect with others that have gone through similar things, or even are just here to support. So thank you for joining the community. Please do come out again next week or whenever you're available. And if you're interested in any of our other programs, such as speaking with our counselor, or maybe even becoming a coach yourself, we were certainly happy to speak more about that as well. But
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, I will definitely be back.
awesome.
Thank you.
I see Nohemi's hand went back down, so if you don't have anything to add, that is okay. Deborah's hand is up,
For
and then
Jensen.
that might close us out after that. So over to Deborah.
Yep, trying to find a mute button. Oh, there we go.
Hi, can you hear me? Hi, Carl.
Hi, how are you?
It was so nice to meet you and Zach. I enjoyed that. I tell
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
it was like God placed you guys in the elevator. I met you both in elevators.
Yep. For those that don't have the context, we're in attendance at the Beljanski Integrative Cancer Conference in Austin, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
A few weeks ago, and Deborah was there as well, and we happened to bump into each other in the elevator, so that was fun.
Yes, that was awesome. So nice to meet you both. So I just logged in or dialed in. I was telling my sister, I said, "Oh, I missed the call," but I noticed that when I dialed in, it sounds like you guys were speaking about something that I am going to about the hormone. I am going to Penn Medicine tomorrow, and I wanted to talk to my oncologist about stopping taking a Flazadex estrogen blocker that I've been taking for about 5 years. So I'm starting to have really, really bad bone pain. And I know that it's probably coming from the Flazadex that I've been doing for 5 years to block the estrogen. And I'm having other side effects also. So not sure what he's going to say, but with doing research or really being guided by the Holy Spirit, and I'm not saying that this is going to be the situation with this. I have been known to just do what I felt like my spirit is telling me to do. I was on a hormone, a chemo pill when I was diagnosed in 2019, when it metastasized to breast cancer to my sacrum and then to different parts of my spine. And I was on the pill, two different ones, Ibrance and then another one. And I just stopped taking the pill because it was just too many side effects. But in the meantime, I know I have work to do. I know I have to stay on my diet. I'm taking my supplements. I just came back today from doing a vitamin C IV. So I'm doing them diligently every month. But my question is, if anyone could help me, does anyone know about Flazodex, the shot? And it's an inhibitor. Is that correct? Is that
Yeah.
another word for it?
Yeah, it's aromatase inhibitors, so inhibits
Mhm.
like the estrogen receptors.
Mhm.
So are they all the same as anastrozole, letrozole, or tamoxifen? They all basically the same. That's why you start having, being 5 years on it, you start having a bone pain and bone discomfort because they deplete. So they lower the level of estrogen, but the estrogen plays a big role in the bone health and also heart health and other organs health. So when I was at the convention, Dr. Jen Simmons was giving a presentation and she was talking, it's not the estrogen fault.
Mhm.
It's something else. The estrogen is not at fault here to that they're blaming estrogen for the female
For the
to have
cancer,
cancer.
right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Estrogen
right.
is not at fault, but they targeting the estrogen. And when they target the estrogen, a lot of things goes off of the balance because estrogen plays a big role in almost every function of every organ in our body.
Mhm.
So it's not about estrogen, as I mentioned before to Karen. It's like you gotta look at into your bile, how your gallbladder works, because bile, detoxify estrogen, excess estrogen from your body. You have to know like what's your fat intake. Do you take enough fat for your bile to work right to detox estrogen? There's so many things that you have to look into that. And
Mhm.
you can ask the doctor those questions, but I don't think so doctor would ever answer them, unfortunately. It did.
Mm-mm.
My doctor couldn't answer me, so I had to look
Mhm.
for them myself. So
Mhm.
Ibran, I did not even start Ibran. When my doctor suggested, I said, no, I'm not going to do it. So I started letrozole. 3 months, I understood letrozole similar to like tamoxifen. It's going to do
Mhm.
damage the bones. So I stopped that too. And
Mhm.
it's been almost 10 years. As I said, I don't take anything and I never felt better. Once I stopped those, I felt like a normal human being. But 5 years
Yes.
being on tamoxifen, I was like disaster. So everything
Mhm.
was so bad, like night sweats, couldn't sleep at night. It's like if a drug gives you those side effects,
Mhm.
how is that could be that it's saving your life
Right.
by damaging another organ or
Yes.
another part of your body? So that's what I told Karen, like you have to do your diligent homework and understand the hormones, entire hormone. It's not easy to understand, but it takes some time. But do your research on that part. Understand what your hormones is all about, what detoxify hormones from your body, how your body makes hormones, and then you will know what's the best food to balance your hormones without taking any drugs. So I'm off
Okay.
drugs for almost 10 years, letrozole or any of those drugs, almost 10 years, I'm off of them. So I'm still here, even though my doctor told me 15% survival chance past 5 years.
Mhm.
Okay.
If you don't mind me asking, do you currently have cancer?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
cancer-free almost 10 years. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's a
You had
blessing.
it
That's a
twice, right,
blessing.
Maria?
Sorry?
You had 2 rounds of cancer.
Yeah, I had first cancer. I mean, the first time was breast cancer, and the second time metastasis from those drugs to the endometrium. So those drugs called endometrial cancer. And that's what another thing. So they do cause secondary cancer. So why do you have to be on something and be afraid? So once I learned about hormones and I start balancing my hormones naturally by changing my diet, focusing on sleep, there's so many things that could trigger hormonal imbalance, like endocrine disruptors, your environmental stuff, cleaning supplies, they do affect the hormones, everything we have to pay attention to. So once you clean up those from your life, you have no fear of cancer because you are not exposing your body to something that could cause, you know, estrogen-driven cancer. You're not having anything in your body that disrupt your endocrine system, your hormones.
I will be so much happier. And I don't have any fear of stopping this. Just like I stopped the pills, I plan on telling him tomorrow. I'm going to try and put in a way and say, let's take a break for a while, but I'm really going to stop it. That's what I would like to do. But I have prayed about this. I'm still praying about it. I definitely don't want to do anything that God doesn't want me to do. So I am praying about this also, and I'm trying to be, very quiet in my spirit and hear from God and the Holy Spirit what they want me to do. But these side effects, I tell you, especially the bone loss and I don't have any problem sleeping, but my hair is thinning, my skin is dry, especially in the winter. My cholesterol, I mean, I'm eating healthy and my cholesterol is still high.
Because
the
of
other thing,
because of those drugs.
right. And the other thing that I'm really concerned about, I bought Dr. Jen Simmons' book. It causes heart disease.
Yes, it does.
So that really tipped me over the top when I read about that more women are dying from the heart disease from taking these inhibitors. So
sadly,
yeah, I'm glad I bought her book. My sister and I bought
book,
her book.
Great book.
It is.
Yeah.
So what was the test that you said to take to check your hormones?
Dutch test. Yeah.
Okay.
It's DUTCH.
Okay.
That's more in-depth testing on hormones.
Okay. I am also getting ready I'm the type of person, I've been doing a lot on my own, like the mistletoe, the vitamin C IVs, I get infrared saunas, I do the chiro, I've changed my diet, I do juices. So I do a lot of that on my own, but something like this I would need help with. So one of the things that we were at the Baljansky was a pamphlet from Dr. Carl Laurie. Are you guys familiar with her?
Harold, yeah.
She had a flyer. So my sister called her for my mother. My mother, unfortunately, was just diagnosed with a reoccurrence of cancer. And they're wanting to give her chemo because she has inflammation in her breast, and they said they cannot do surgery without her having treatment. So my sister contacted Dr. Carol Laurie. Unfortunately, my mother wants to do the chemo and she's 89 years old. But Dr. Laurie is going to walk us through what we can do during the chemo and after the chemo, and hopefully, everything will be okay after that and she'll have surgery. But so I'm thinking about contacting Dr. Carol Laurie to help me with my hormones, because that's something I'm not going to be able to do on my own, I don't think, with the research.
Someone had mentioned that Dr. Jensen is recommended bioidentical hormones. In my understanding, even bioidentical hormones are still exogenous hormones coming into your body. It's mean you're preventing your body to balancing its own hormones. That's what my understanding is. So, but if you are on the right path, your body does not need either bioidentical or neither hormones. It has to do it on its own. So, there's a few people who might need it, but saying like everyone needs bioidentical hormones if they have a hormonal problems, I would say, personally, I would say no. I would not look into that because they still exogenous hormones. Like you said, you believe in God, that God gave you a body and gave you everything for your body to survive. That's it. God has nothing to do with your health. You're the one who is in charge of your own health because you misobey what God gave you. That's all I could say. So you have to put in your body what God gave you in the right form, and then just be grateful for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I just, I'm not supposed to do that. Sorry.
Yeah, I know.
Awesome. Thank you very much for sharing, Deborah. It's fantastic to see you again. Thank you very much, of course, as always, for that fantastic information. We had a new friend join us. As a reminder, we do get started at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we've been running for about an hour and a half now, which is a lot longer than usual, but the conversation is going and flowing. We're all having fun. And I want to make sure that everyone is seen, heard, and appreciated. So I will at this time invite our new friend Billy to the mic if they are able and willing to grab the mic and unmute themselves. I'd love to hear what brings you out tonight to the call.
Hi there.
Hello.
So my husband has a large mass, and it's the diffuse large B-cell lymphoma. And we've gone through our first treatment, and next week we go for our second round.
Okay. Well, we're of course incredibly sorry to hear that. And what can we do here to support you? Do you have any questions for our staff, our coach that we have here with us? Obviously, we are not here to give specific circumstance advice on this public call, but we'd love to know what we can answer for you here tonight.
We don't know what we don't know. So I've been lurking in a bunch of different groups, searching all kinds of stuff, and found you guys and saw that you had a call and figured I would jump on and see what you guys are talking about.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we are going to be wrapping up shortly, but these replays are available. They're on YouTube, they're on Facebook, and I'd be more than happy to send you the link personally afterwards, because there was a lot of fantastic stuff covered here tonight. And of course, we do meet every Thursday evening for these calls. So I'll pop it over to Maya if she has any specific thoughts on the circumstance that was just shared. Over to Maya.
Yeah, like we spoke before, any type of cancer is basically driven because there's some kind of imbalance. The body is not at balance. There's something happening. Either someone was predisposed to something in the past, especially B-cell lymphoma, some sort, it's like a chronic inflammation. That's probably something you would have to look into. Seeing like what kind of chronic inflammation, whether like a person is diabetic or had any past issues. That's not necessary that started a year ago. It might started like 15, 20, 30 years ago. So you have to look back and see what exactly could trigger those, his condition, and clearing up those, we call it muddy water, because if you're not going to clear up those muddy waters, which is like a basic everyday lifestyle, cleaning, the diet, sleep, it's very hard to, just focusing on one thing and saying, okay, I'm going to change my diet and the cancer is going to go away. No, it doesn't happen, unfortunately. So there's everything you have to focus on. You got to balance your sleep, because sleep plays a big role in clearing the body from detox, from toxins and clearing up the cancer cells. So that's one part. And then drinking clean water, eating clean food, breathing clean air, like not putting toxins on your body, not even wearing a clothes, synthetic clothes. That's another part. People don't pay attention, but when they sweat in synthetic clothes, they absorb those toxins. So there's many things that you have to pay attention to learn about it, to learn and clear your entire environment to be able to get rid of cancer. And if you're not going to do that, and on the top of the body is already at the toxicated state, adding like a treatment like chemo and radiation, adding more toxins to that, body's not going to be happy,
Right.
So it could cause secondary and more aggressive cancer. So highly recommend to work with someone who can guide you through, and to a right path. Or find a doctor who would do both conventional and holistic, treatments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Maya.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Billy. We have a hand up from Harmonious Monday, and then we are going to be wrapping up after that. Over to Harmonious.
Thank you so much. I just can't tell you how many times I'm nodding along with Maya. Maya is just, I mean, this is this is my first time with you guys. I just want to tell you, Maya, you're a blessing, okay? The way you're talking about comprehensive, as everything you're saying, my mind is going comprehensive. Remember, comprehensive, comprehensive, because you're saying, yes, you're not addressing the actual fundamental issue. Yes, tamoxifen might do this or ozone might do that. Ozone, I have a lot of respect for it, but I would never recommend that someone try to cure their cancer with ozone. It's got to be comprehensive if you really, really want to hit it at a foundational level. And I just want to say one other thing too, because I don't want anybody to misunderstand my participation. I threw in a link. I'm very careful. I'm very careful about self-promotion, and I guarantee you, I am not here for self-promotion. Okay, but I threw in a link as an example because Maya, you kept saying so many things that suggested more research. Okay, now one of the things that I think I do good, if I do good anything at all, I consider myself a research accelerator. So if somebody wants to learn, there's so much out there just to separate the wheat from the chaff. Like how much of this is just pure garbage and how much of this is legitimate. So when I quote people, and I have about 300 sources, BeatCancer.org is one of my sources, but I have more than 300 sources. And I consider myself, like if anybody wanted to dive into the word estrogen, I put a link there. You can go and see just, I don't know, 30, 40, 50, 60 quotes from doctors or patients or science that teach them about estrogen as fast as possible. And I did and again, I'm not saying I'm a doctor or anything, but I did the pre-qualifying for them. In other words, I already decided that this is a site that you want to learn from. Go there to start learning. So I just wanted to say that without sounding like I'm promoting myself because I'm not. Um, but Maya, you are spot on, and I'm so glad I popped in tonight. Um, I just can't believe it took me 6 months to do it. I just can't believe it. I can't. Thank you.
Awesome.
Better late than never. Better late than never.
I know. I know.
We
You're all great.
enjoyed your participation for sure.
Thank you.
Awesome. I was going to end it there. I see Janet did pop back onto the camera. So
I
what the
did.
hell? We are here. We are now.
I
If you want to give a quick rundown on the ozone insufflation from earlier, let's
No, I just wanted to clarify because he said he would never recommend that. And, I come from a community that we certainly teach healthy diet. We certainly teach eliminating toxins from our world and, looking at everything that's going on within us, so, body, mind, and spirit. We look at the whole picture. And so when I bring up the ozone, it was specifically because I was aware that I do have a friend who is doing all of those things and has found that adding that ozone into the mix has been helpful for the lung issues she was having with her meds.
Absolutely. We agree with you 100%.
Awesome. With that said, I'm first going to show Maya and everybody else that I am joining her in the
They're the
ultra
Blue Blocker
blue
clan.
light blocking glasses. These things are
Oh.
crazy. Everything looks nuts. But yeah, just wanted to show those off real quick. Talk about those again another time, such as next week, because that is all for tonight's call. This has been fantastic. I am very grateful for everyone that participated here with us here on the Zoom. Several people made it here to the end. Other people dropped off. That's okay too. But these community calls are just that. They are community calls. They're not for the three of us or just our staff and coaches to come on and talk to each other. We could do that offline. We could do that whenever. These calls are for you. Whoever you are listening, these calls are for you. And we want to answer whatever we can and help you however we can, whatever you're facing, whatever state along the way of a healing or, journey you're on, or wherever you are, whether you have cancer or not, or ever have. These calls are driven by the community. So thank you everyone for participating in the call, in the chat. Thank you for everyone that's watching the replay. As a reminder, we are live every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please adjust for your local time zone. These calls are, you can join us by going to BeatCancer.org and clicking on the weekly call button at the top, or you can catch the live stream on Facebook, X.com, Rumble, and YouTube by going to our channels on those assorted platforms. Fantastic call tonight. If there's anything we can do to support you in the meantime, contact us at support@BeatCancer.org. Remember, there is hope in healing, and we are here to help you along the way. Over to Carl for closing thoughts.
Well, we got a thumbs up from Dave, so that makes it all worth it tonight. And so glad to see Deborah Johnson on the call. And thank you, Harmonious and Karen, and all the other people that made it out tonight. We really appreciate you, and you guys are why we do it. You're why we do it, and it brings so much energy to us to be able to host these calls for you.
Till next week.
Sounds great.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, have a great week.